Hello, everyone. A very logical day to all of you. And I hope you remember what resolution you all have taken, right? I think so. You should be doing two passages extra, two articles extra reading. And of course, you need to now focus on your vocabulary also. And you're getting quite many good words in your articles. So I hope you are noting them down and you are revising them on and off at least once in a week. If you remember in the previous article, that is yesterday, I took a few root words also. Let's see if we can get these root words now in this article today also, right? So here it is, May 30th, editorial explained, the first editorial of the Indian Express. So Imphal SOS. SOS is Save Our Souls. Oh, yes, most of you know that. So let's see what we have in the reading part. It is after a short lull, arson and violence and killings are back in the ethnic tension that has singed Manipur for nearly a month. Ahead of Union Home Minister Amit Shah's arrival in Imphal, at least two people, including a policeman, were killed. On Sunday, Chief Minister Biren Singh said security forces have killed 40 Kuki militants. At least 75 civilians have died in the violence so far. Meanwhile, there have been reports of mobs attacking the houses of legislators, police stations, and looting armories. The chasm between the Métis and Kukis only seems to have widened over the days. Now, if it is widened, then definitely it has to be a gap or a difference, right? Over the days, with no attempt being made at facilitating a reconciliation. If there is no attempt being made, so what do we need? If the gap is increasing, that means there is no, if reconciliation is like patching up, right? वो नहीं है. So the battle in the courts over the granting of tribal status to the Methi is yet to be settled, though the Supreme Court had criticized the directive. All evidence points to a crisis of governance with mobs controlling the street and the administration missing from the scene. Mobs are controlling the street, administrations are missing from the scene. Mobs have rushed in to fill the political vacuum. Mobs means unruly crowds. Right? So mobs is a correct word. It can be a plural. So what we can understand from this passage is, this paragraph is one, that after a brief or a short lull would mean break, recess. Arson and violence and killings are back in the ethnic tension. Right. That is one point. Second, and how it is back, because the administration is not there and the mobs have come in here. So if the mobs are controlling the street, the administration is missing now from the streets, from the scene. Now, the first task before the government is to step in. Now, because the administration is missing, so what should be done? First thing, it should step in to restore the law and order. Main point here. Just as the riots started, the Union Home Ministry had said central forces will be deployed to control the situation. This was essential since the breakdown of trust among communities had seeped into the police force as well. Right? Seeped into means it has crawled into. धीरे 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 करके उसने अपनी जगह बना ली है. क्या? किसने जगह बनाई है? This breakdown of trust. Right? It was there between the people and now it is there in the police force as well. So normally, the presence of a neutral force ought to have allowed the state to reclaim the lost ground and enforce peace. Peace, sorry. So this is what should have happened. Enforcement of peace. But that has not happened despite the Central Minister of State for Home, Nityanand Rai, visiting Imphal. The lesson to draw from this is that a strong political leadership is necessary to get the warring parties who have a long history of distrust to sit across the table and start talking. So the lesson drawn is that there should be a discussion. Because if there is distrust and that too a long history of distrust, then what is required is a discussion. So the first major failure of the administration was in not anticipating that the Manipur High Court's controversial March 27 order could trigger a communal conflict, Imphaal's aggressive targeting of poppy cultivation in the hills, and its unexpected decision to pull out of the suspension of operations agreement with two tribal insurgent groups in March on the grounds that their leaders hailed from Myanmar and that they were aiding the protests in the hills had already deepened the valley hill divide. So if we are unable to keep in mind all this, what we can understand is that the passage or the author is still talking about the gap between these people, the divide, the chasm, right? And the administration is missing from the scene. The mobs have taken over. What is required is that this government should be able to step in now to maintain law and order, right? So we have three, 4 points right now with us. So Biren Singh is increasingly seen as a partisan figure by the hill communities. Partisan means divisive, right? They would divide. By the hill communities who perceive his administration to be pro-Meith, right? To be pro means in favor of. So that is what, if you're favoring somebody, that means you're creating a divide between the two communities. That is it. They perceive his administration to be pro-Methi. Even legislative units seem divided, see, along communal lines with community or tribe affiliations trumping the party loyalties. So there is no loyalty, how it is being trumped, the ट्राइब एफिलिएशंस पार्टी में ही अलग अलग ट्राइब के लोग हैं तो दो ट्राइब्स के बीच में अगर डिफरेंस है डिवीजन है तो दिस इज बीइंग सीन इन द पार्टी आल्सो राइट so this is the division along the communal lines. So, from this paragraph, you can keep in mind that there was a difference, a division between the communities that was in the first paragraph. Now, this difference between the communities, this chasm or this gap has actually seeped into, creeped into, or crawled into the police force also. And now it is talking about that this division along the communal lines is trumping the party loyalties. That means it has creeped into the party also. So this is the Valley Hill divide. Now the political leadership also needs to address the legal conundrum. Conundrum is the puzzle or the mystery. Problem है मतलब आप सोचो दो communities में difference है सालों साल का distrust है then it is creeping into the police force, it is creeping into the administration, it is creeping into the political party. So how deep it is going to run now? So the political leadership needs to address it. Address is to cater to that problem, right? It has to address it, which can be traced to broader questions of development, employment and educational opportunities, land ownership and usage, and so on. Additional dimension that seems to complicate the Manipur picture is the post-coup turmoil in Myanmar, right? This is an additional dimension. Post-coup turmoil. Turmoil is disturbance. A military coup का मतलब होता है कि एक it would be like dethroning somebody, ठीक है, in Myanmar, which has led to an influx of refugees. So whatever is happening in Myanmar, because of that, people, refugees are coming into our country, that is here in Manipur, including people with alleged links to anti-Janta resistance groups, fueling rumors about demographic change. Now, see here, you get two things. One, the word influx, right? That means the coming into our country or into our state. Many people in huge numbers, that is, when they come into a state, that is called the influx. ठीक है टर्मोइल मतलब म्यांमार में प्रॉब्लम हुआ तो म्यांमार में प्रॉब्लम की वजह से देयर वर पीपल हु वर कमिंग इनटू अ कंट्री दैट इज इन मणिपुर. Now, because of this, there have been alleged links to anti-Janta resistance groups, right? So there were people who were anti-Janta. Now, this Janta doesn't mean आम आदमी की जनता, नहीं वो नहीं है, पब्लिक नहीं है ये. This read on this Janta you will get in Myanmar, you will get in Bangladesh, right? This is again a form of a government, right? So anti-Janta resistant groups fueling rumors about demographic change. Now, clearly, multiple factors are at play in Manipur. The response needs to be multi-layered too. So, if there are so many factors affecting the peace of Manipur, then of course the response has to be multi-pronged also. So, at the judicial, political, social levels, the state administration top down seem to be clueless or complicit or somewhere in between. They are clueless means they do not know anything. Complicit means, okay, fine, we'll agree to whatever you say, and or in between. So the center needs to step in. Now, see, this is the third or the fourth time when it is being said that the government needs to step in, the center needs to step in, the administration needs to step in. इसका मतलब अब कोई ना कोई रास्ता इन्हें लेना ही है. क्यों? क्योंकि mobs are dominating now. They have filled the political vacuum, if you remember the first paragraph last line, right? So the center needs to step in to build public trust so that this crucial border state, the gateway to India's Act East dreams, does not slip further. Not just a city or a state, peace in the entire region is at stake. So here comes the author's a little serious tone, right? What is to be done, what needs to be done. So whatever the author is saying needs to be means it is a compulsion. अभी ये करना ही पड़ेगा. अच्छा, compulsion वैसा must और should वाला नहीं है. Compulsion मतलब कि situation ऐसी हो गई, अब तो ऐसा करना ही होगा. So this situation needs a step taken by the government. It needs a step taken by the state government. It needs some proper action, some concrete action is to be taken by the government so that peace returns to that particular region, because it is not only about the state, it is about the complete east region, right? And India's Act East, right? So I hope you have understood these 3 4 lines. They were, what were they? We'll just quickly go through it. One, the distrust is still there, and that too a very wide gap between these two communities. And because of this, the it is actually creeping into the politics, into the political parties, that is, and into the police force also. But this is creating a problem in the in the whole region. It needs to be addressed, and what should be done? The administration should come into play now, and it should come up with addressing this problem. Fine. Secondly, last line, it was multiple factors are at play, and therefore a multi-pronged solution should also be there. Right? So if you have understood this much, then any question that you would get, you'll be able to answer it. But now let us see the main idea what we have. Its response is flawed and ineffective. Center needs to step in. See, it again came up with this to pull Manipur back from the brink. Brink means the edge, about to fall, the cliff. So flawed is like it is a mistake. It has done something wrong. So its response is wrong. The center needs to step in. It needs to pull Manipur back from the brink. किनारे से हटा के उसके वापस लाना है so that it is better. The turmoil is removed and peace is retained. So we get a few good words here. Flawed, I just wrote, it is an error or a mistake you can write now. Right. Brink is again an edge. Lull is the break or recess. Chasm is a gap. Gap हो सकता है, abyss भी हो सकता है. Right? Abysmal is a huge gap, difference, a huge difference. Reconciliation is to patch up. Patch up means ठीक है, वापस एक reconciliatory statements आते हैं बैंक के. Right? If you are doing commerce, then you will get come across this word. Seeped into को you can easily write creeped into. तो धीरे 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 पानी जैसे सॉइल में धीरे धीरे नीचे जाता है ना, उसे सीपिंग कहते हैं. Right? Poppy fields, I hope you know, it is that opium or poppy seeds होते हैं, खसखस जिसे कहते हैं, उसके fields होते हैं. Then insurgents are rebels, those who are coming in. Partisan is like division or divide, or they favor. Affiliations are connections, associations. ठीक है, affiliated to the CBSE, affiliated to so and so university. ठीक है. Conundrum is a mystery or a puzzle. Turmoil is turbulence. Turmoil is being disturbed, or there's a mental turmoil. That means you're upset about or over something, right? Influx is again coming in of the people, immigrants, immigrants. इनफ्लक्स का ऑपोजिट देती हूँ मैं तुम्हें. इनफ्लक्स तो समझ में आ गया. इनफ्लक्स का ऑपोजिट ऑफ इनफ्लक्स इज, and I put a cross sign, that means it's the opposite. Opposite is exodus. You can understand this. EXODUS, right? So IN means coming in and EX means going out. So influx is coming in of the people from various neighboring states, and exodus is moving out of the people. So what is exodus for Myanmar will be influx for Manipur. Demographic is related to the people, right? And crucial is something that is quite significant, right? Now, if I give you a root word here, what you can, a prefix or a root word, whatever it is, AFF, you can understand that it is like something connecting or joining wala, right? So affiliation, affection, also you like affable कर सकते हो. ठीक है. Then next is demo. Demo is related to people. Then you can understand the suffix graph. Graph would be related to writing or drawing, right? जैसे telegraph. So, and then you have like cartograph, cartography. So it is like making maps or drawing maps. ठीक है. Telegraph होगा आपका लिखने का. And crucial you can understand. So I think so you can understand the rest of the words now. Right? So at least note them down and then keep revising them on Saturday and Sunday. This was what I told you yesterday also, but yes, you have to do it. Any 2 days, one day, according to your weekly schedule, you can do it. So that's all for today. Thank you and see you tomorrow and have a very logical day ahead.